Hi, this is Fabian Trahan, and welcome to Ectophobia Radio, the Paris Sanctum podcast. Hi, this is Fabian Trahan, your host. This is episode 14 and the final episode for season 1 of the Paris Sanctum podcast. It has been a crazy year. Thank you all to all of our supporters through Anchor.fm, Spotify, Google, Apple, and many other great podcast platforms. Your support has made the difference in this podcast evolution, and for that I am forever grateful. 2022, here we come. Oh, and speaking of the end of the year, let me enlighten you with this gem. 11 creepy things about the winter solstice that you didn't know. Yeah, you heard that right. As if there couldn't be an element of creepy in everything, let's go ahead and throw the winter solstice in there. If the increasingly short days that we've been experiencing since the beginning of the summer solstice back in June have you feeling blue right now, I'm right there with you. Because during fall, I usually revel in the idea of longer fall evenings for a few weeks. Not to mention Halloween and pumpkins and things like that. Well, largely because it gives me an excuse to curl up on my couch a little bit earlier every night. And as it gets colder, fire that fireplace up. However, each year without fail, I end up feeling very over it by December. And well, here we are. This year is no different. So I, for one, am positively thrilled that the winter solstice has passed, because that means the days are finally starting to slowly get longer. And I can celebrate the joy that comes with more sunlight. There are, however, a few reasons not to look forward to it. Namely, these creepy things, 11, that you should probably know about regarding the winter solstice. I just hope they don't temper your excitement about the lengthening days too much for us in the northern hemisphere. Well, what exactly is the winter solstice? The winter solstice, which is also the first day of the astronomical winter, it fell on December 21st of this year, 2021. And according to the Farmer's Almanac, the winter solstice is the day with the fewest hours of sunlight. On this day, the sun's path has hit its southernmost position, after which it begins moving north. What this means for all of us is that the days will start getting slightly longer, and already have since December 22nd. Before you know it, it might actually be light outside when you leave work. Number 1. The word solstice comes from the Latin term for the sun stands still. Since the sun reaches its southernmost post on this day, and then reverses its direction, I understand why it makes sense to call the event a solstice, from the Latin word solstitium. But that doesn't mean that the sheer idea of the sun normally in motion coming to a halt isn't bizarre. It is, however, the necessary cycle of our world around it. Number 2. Historically, the winter solstice was viewed as a time of death. Cultures throughout history have observed the winter solstice as a celebration of death and have marked it with ceremonial fires and slaughters. I guess this one's less creepy if you happen to believe that death brings rebirth with it, as some of these cultures did. But still. Number 3. Some people believe that Stonehenge was built to celebrate the winter solstice. There's so much mystery around Stonehenge's history and existence that pretty much anything related to it gives me the creeps. While there are a lot of theories about where this stone monument came from and why it's there, Some experts believe that the design appears to correspond to the winter and summer solstice. This according to the Farmer's Almanac. But I still think Stonehenge is cool. There's just something cool about mystery. Yeah. Number 4. The winter solstice doesn't affect daylight hours equally for everyone. While sun lovers everywhere will rejoice in longer days after the winter solstice, the rate at which those days will get longer is actually different based on your geography. Weird, right? People in the northern hemisphere will see a more rapid increase in daylight hours if they live at more northern latitudes. Number 5. New worlds have been discovered on the winter solstice. In 1620, the Pilgrims arrived in Plymouth on the winter solstice. In 1898, Pierre and Marie Curie discovered radium and ushered in a new age of science on the winter solstice. In 1968, the Apollo 8 launched and became the first man-moon mission on the winter solstice. Number 6. Some cultures believe that dark spirits emerge on the winter solstice. Iranian, Celtic, and Germanic tradition says that different types of evil spirits emerge on this occasion. Certain cultures would even stay up all night on the winter solstice so they could avoid first-hand encounters with the darkness. Number 7. Stonehenge aligns with the sun on the solstice. More creepy Stonehenge vibes. The setting sun lines up with the spaces between the stone structures on the winter solstice, shining directly through the gaps. This explains why some have theorized that there's a link between Stonehenge and the solstice. Number 8. The 2012 winter solstice was thought by some to be the end of the world. The ancient Mayan calendar suggested that December 21st, 2012 was the end of a 5,126-year cycle, aka the end of life as we know it, or the start of some other disastrous event. Times may be tough, but I for one am glad we dodged this particular winter solstice bullet. Number 9. Meteorologists mark the start of winter on a different day. It always creeps me out when I'm getting different information from different experts and I'm not sure what to believe, especially when we're talking about facts of the physical world that I've always taken for granted. According to Mashable, meteorologists say that winter actually begins a few weeks before the solstice on December 1st. The day we commonly accept as the first day of winter is actually the start of the astronomical winter. Winter is bad enough as it is. Can we just pick one day to kick it off? Number 10. Some people believe that Christmas should be celebrated on the winter solstice. Because there's no actual date associated with Jesus' birth in the Bible, there are theories out there that early pagans actually celebrated Christmas on the winter solstice. Symbolically, this makes sense, since the day marks a rebirth and a new season. But it's unsettling to think that we could be so wrong about such a major holiday. And finally, number 11. The winter solstice was once closely linked to famine. The winter solstice was once associated with the start of famine months. Food stores would typically dwindle in the winter months between January and April, so ancient cultures would go all out with fresh food on the solstice. So if you live in the northern hemisphere like me, you can now look forward to longer days. Portions of this story courtesy of Bustle.com and written by Ali Hoff Kosick on December 13th, 2017. Background music courtesy of Miguel Berkemeyer's Southern Elves, which can be found on YouTube. This story is not directly affiliated with the Parasanctum podcast or the Trahan Radio Network, so it remains the copyrighted material of its original author and publishing house. I hope you take care with whatever you're doing. Catch you next time. Have a safe and happy New Year, everyone. Bye-bye for now.